Alright, and welcome back to part 3 of this Let's Build series. Now in today's episode, the main focus is not the castle, the church, which is kind of away from everything, but that's just because I felt like we needed something kind of distant to the village that looked nice. And honestly, this is a build I'm actually really proud of, because I don't usually build in this style. And again, I'm trying to keep a simple palette, something that you might see when playing vanilla Minecraft. So it's nothing too insane. So that's the reason I'm sticking to a lot of like stone bricks, cobblestone, the like. For this one, I did want to mix in mossy stone brick as well as cracked stone brick. But seeing as it's a church, I figured in my mind that for the most part the church would be really well kept, so it wouldn't be deteriorating in any kind of way. So there'd be no moss growing on it, there'd be no cracks. Now the hardest thing for this whole build was honestly the towers that you see right now. And just starting that off, it was kind of a pain in the butt because I didn't pre-design any of this. I'm kind of just building this as I go. And the tower, I didn't hate it at first because I was trying to do the hourglass shape again. But after I added the roof, which you guys will see here, the roof, I didn't like the color that I used for it. Like, I like acacia wood, but not for this particular build. Anyway, as I was building this, I tried to add a little bit of detail to it to try to make it look better. But honestly, it just looked like a castle tower, and I didn't like that. So I did end up getting rid of all of this. Even though, like, see, that doesn't look too bad, but right here you can see it looking like a castle tower. So instead, I scrapped it, got rid of the whole thing, and started over. I can't remember if it's the second design that I went with that looked a lot better, but I do believe I think it is this one, because I did extend the whole thing up, built it up a little bit more, and from there I ended up, so I built it up a little bit more. I went ahead and added some decor. How do you even say that word? It doesn't sound like a word. Decor. Well, anyway, some decorations, just to make it look better. And I did like just using the stairs and the fencing for this, because it gave it a nice dimension to it that it didn't have before. And I honestly felt a lot better about it this way, even though the stairs and the fencing doesn't line up properly. But just with these little spikes sticking out from the side, I thought it looked really good. And this time I went with the dark oak wood, just because I did like the way that it looked. And the roof for the main church was going to be a darker brick, so I felt this would be a nice complement to it. But yeah, so this is essentially what the tower is going to end up looking like, and I actually really liked it. So you'll see here in a little bit the other tower, which altogether this actually looks really well. And right here it kind of looks like a witch hut, but living where I live, we see a lot of temples, and they kind of have a similar style roofing to that one, which is kind of why I went with that. And here's just making sure that I had this leveled out to be at the same size, because I didn't want one tower to be huge and the other one to be tiny. I needed them to be the same size, just because it looks better that way. Same thing right here, just making sure I only extend this up so high, so again it doesn't look bad or anything. And it's just a repeat of the first tower. That little antenna looking thing on top, I don't know how I felt about that, but I guess I kept it. And looking at it, it does look pretty good, because check this out. This isn't bad at all. So it's just now a matter of filling everything in, and from here starting work on the main tower. Well, not the main tower, the main building, which again, trying to keep it with a simple look. I did go a little overboard because I used a lot of colored glass panes rather than just anything else. But just take a second to look at this as we're zooming out. Personally, I feel like it looks really good, especially with the terrain and everything around it. It's one of those things that's really appealing to look at. I really like looking at this tower. Here I'm just trying to add more detail, and I'm not too fond of it, so I do get rid of it. And I kept mostly a stone. This thing is primarily stone. As you can see on the base, I did add a little bit more detailing just to make it look more sturdy, because the way that it looked before, I didn't like the look of it, just because it looks so boxy, and that's not good for me. But Yeah, so the towers are essentially done. I do go back a little later and replace the area between the fencing and the wall with glass. And personally, I feel like it makes it look a lot better, but that's just me. Let's see. So yeah, here's the thing. Whenever you're building, take a second to appreciate your build so you can make sure it's coming along the way that you want it to, as I'm doing here. And that's not a bad thing, honestly, because it lets you eyeball it, see if anything is missing, what you need to do, lets you plan ahead. I don't know, I do that a lot whenever I'm building. I'll build something, I'll take a step back, look at it, see if it's going the way that I want, and from there I keep going. But I went ahead and started with the main structure for the church. And again, I try to keep the same block set. And here I tried doing I haven't really done a roof like this in forever. But I did want something where I could put in a lot of glass panes, just because. And so that sand is just so I know exactly where the door is going to be, because I want the doors to be centered, not off to the side or anything, because that just doesn't look good to me. Anyway, here I'm just trying to decide how I want the glass to end up going, and it did take a minute, but it's not really a work of art, it's more of a piece of mess. Anyway, after all that though, I do end up going with the roofing. As you can see, we're using nether brick, which is a dark, well, it's kind of like a dark red, like a maroon. I actually really liked it for this, just because, again, a dark color compared to the lighter color of the stone. Personally, I think it looks really nice, so that's why I kind of went with it. And then just here, I kind of elevated the roof a little bit, just so nothing looked like it was stepped on. I don't know how to explain it, but the stairs weren't connected directly, because then I feel like that looks a little funny. Anyway, then it's just a matter of repeating it on the other side. As you can see, the church is starting to take shape. I mean, slow process, but it is one that, well, it looks pretty good, quite frankly. But I'm really biased in that regard, because I did build this. And again, I mean, it was a weird style for me, because this is not something I usually build whenever I'm playing Minecraft. Because I tend to stick to houses, a little bit of redstone. So doing something like this was different, but I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy doing this. So if you guys want to see more like this, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And I'll go ahead and do that. Because, like I said, I did enjoy doing this way. It was fun, it's different from survival. And again, just that big opening in the back is for more more glass panes. And then I'm leaving little divots along the side of the wall so I can put more glass in there to really give in that, I don't know what you would call it, but a lot of churches I've seen have these giant glass windows on the side and they're, it's made with colored panes. So there's all kinds of designs on them. And that's kind of what I was going for here. But of course, being Minecraft, I can't really put in a lot of detail with the glass panes in a single layer of Minecraft. And here goes the camera again being all wonky. Again though, remember, this is my first time using this mod, so down the line I'm gonna try to get better so it doesn't look like that. But yeah, I mean, overall I felt really good about this whole design. The thing was deciding what the church should be about, and just because it's Minecraft, I decided to go with the Church of Creepers. So as you'll see here in a minute, the glass design I do for the main window is going to be a creeper face, which honestly it came out pretty nicely, but I feel like I gave it way too much room, way more room than it was needed for it. But honestly, it didn't look bad. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention about this whole thing is that I don't really plan on decorating the insides of any of these, although granted it does look a lot better, and I might do it down the line, honestly. But as of right now, it's kind of just building the structure for the whole village, making it look nice, making it look how I want it to, with a simple style. I mean, the palette isn't simple at this point, because nether brick, glowstone, the simple part's gone out. But the designs are, I feel like they're really basic, so it's something that, if you guys want to replicate, you can. If not, I would like to make this a world download so you guys could get into it and actually see it. And well, just right here I went ahead and decided to build a bell, And this part was tricky because building a bell out of a 2x2 is really hard. So I ended up doing 2 separate blocks for this whole thing, and I didn't use an actual bell just because I wanted something massive, and yeah, that didn't work. And here goes the funny camera again. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, the whole thing is really starting to take shape here, and just the multiple towers, the difference in height, depth, and all that, it's making this whole thing look really nice. And as you can see here, this is where I started trying to make a bell shape, but I wasn't too happy with it. And just so you know, this isn't glowstone or anything, it's just gold. I don't know what it is about gold and my shader pack, but it's always glowing. Anyway, so here's the bells that I ended up going with. I know it doesn't really look like bells, but I kind of wanted something up there, and the big block wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. So that's the best I could do. Anyway, now I believe I started putting in the framing for where the glass would be, just so it wouldn't look the same to everything else. Because I mean, as you can see here, I started doing a little more decorating with the front, making it look a little nicer. Just again, simple stuff, a couple block replacements. And yeah, I mean, there's a couple things I really appreciate about this build, and that's that it looks really nice with this shader pack. I honestly don't know how it looks like without it on, but yeah. So here, okay, with the towers, because like I did say, the main body of the church would probably be well kept, since for many villages, churches were like the center. I don't even know how to say it properly, but if you didn't go to church, then you were seen as a demon, basically. If you didn't go to church, you could be kicked out of town and whatnot. So I want, again, because of this town supposed to be structured around a village, I figured the main building would be well kept, but the towers on the side that serve no purpose other than decoration, they're gonna have missing bricks, cracks, moss. Anyway, here we see me putting down the glass panes, and I did want to try to go for a design, but I mean, it's really hard to do a design, so this is what I ended up doing. It's really simple, but you know, it works, at least for what we're doing. And here, using those same exact colors, I went ahead and filled in layers of the windows, just so we could have a nice differentiation of colors. Went ahead and did the same thing to the other side, using the exact same colors from the opposite side. So if there was a column that was red, the column on the other side would be red as well, and it wouldn't be like yellow or anything. Now here's where we go ahead and start to build a creeper face, because, well, it's the Church of Creepers, which is kind of a weird thing to be worshiping. It's a weird thing to have mass for, or you know, go to church for, or whatever. It's a weird thing. I mean, these things kill you, and now you're praising them in a church. But yeah, like, I wasn't disappointed how this looked, even though I feel like I didn't give myself enough room for this. I feel like the end result looked really good. So here I'm just trying to make sure everything fits, have the creeper face to the side to make sure I get the right textures in here. And as you can see, I mean, you can see the face of it, which is the point of this whole thing. And then replace that with black, and now the face is obvious that it's right there. It's a creeper face. I started replacing some of the dark greens with light greens to give it a nicer look, and again, just more replacements. But yeah, so I believe that is all we ended up doing with the church. Alright, here's a nice view from the bridge going towards the church, and again, I really do like how it looks. And so I will apologize right now, because I don't know if it's just the way that it rendered on my system, but the actual footage that I used for this looked really good, and right now it's kind of fuzzy. We went ahead and jumped towards the graveyard, which was, well, it wasn't that hard to do, but just trying to hide how uneven the terrain was a bit of a pain in the butt. Because you can see here, I got to build leveling the thing out, and because this is the cemetery, you know, I figured it wouldn't be as well kept as the main body of the church, so I did add some cracks, some cobblestone, some mossy stone stairs to make it look like there was bricks missing, that kind of stuff. So again, these little details that makes it seem more alive. I mean, there's a lot of cracked stone right there, and I really don't know why, but again, it's the details that really bring the whole thing together. Now right here for the entrance, I didn't know what to do entirely, so I went with a really simple arch, just because, you know, why not? And again, sorry for the video quality. It looked a lot better when I was recording. I just really don't know what happened. Again, if it does look bad, if it doesn't, then just ignore this whole situation. And from here, we might as well just go ahead. Well, we started and leveled out the grass again because we're not really burying anybody here. It doesn't really matter. It's all about looks. And since Halloween's right around the corner, we might as well try to make this look a little gloomy. So here's the thing, right? I was trying to decide how to decorate this properly, and I didn't like just being stone fence. It's stone along the top, so I added the fencing to give it more definition. But I did want to add lanterns, and I didn't want to put them just on top of everything. So I started doing this little pattern, which is just one iron bar between every 2 blocks. Every 3 blocks. Well, every 3 blocks there's 2 iron bars. And honestly, I don't know if I showed this, but at nighttime this actually looks really, really good. Now the hard part here was trying to figure out how to make something look like cobblestone. Not cobblestone, like a gravestone. Because, there's no gravestones in Minecraft. At least not as far as I know. So I went ahead and tried using walls to try to make it look like a kind of a tombstone. And it kind of worked. The thing is that I didn't feel like I gave myself enough room for it. So I had to get a little shifty and I ended up finding a way to fit in 4, but it does look a little wonky. And then we have the one in the middle, and here I was just trying to get a cool shot because why not? Anyway, then I brought them all up just because the one in the middle seems to be up. I brought that one up, I can't remember why, but I didn't want the other ones to feel like they were less significant, so I went ahead and did that. Now from here, it's just a matter of decorating the dirt, so I went ahead and got some coarse dirt and put it where the bodies would be, usually where they were buried. And then I went ahead and used a shovel to create more of a pathway as well. And then finally, I do end up using vines to decorate the stones around them, but I went ahead and used flower pots and flowers to decorate these, like if people were visiting these, to make it again look more alive. And again, here's I don't know why I fell in love with that arc, but I just kept going to it for some reason. But yeah, honestly, I'm really happy with how all this looked. I might have to do a video tour separate from all this, just because I don't know. Again, I'm seeing this and it seems like it rendered poorly, and I don't know why. Some parts of the videos look like the way that it should be. Other parts just looks awful. So again, if it looks that way, I do apologize. And I really have no idea why it's looking that way. Like I tried rendering it again and everything, but so far it's only this video. I don't know, it's one of those things that I'm gonna have to figure out. But there's a look at the inside of the church. Here's the church all done. See that? Looking at that with the background and everything, I loved it. Personally, it looks amazing. I was really, really happy with this. Part of the farmhouse, the roof went missing, and I don't really know why. Lightning may have struck it, but as far as I know, wait, does that happen? Like if lightning hits the roof? But anyway, here I am trying to fix it. Anyway, here I decided to go ahead and start building the mine. Again, this one is a super, super easy design. Because I didn't actually build a mine, I just went ahead and made the entrance to the mine. Again, just a little minecart there with openings to the sides so people can walk up and down. So you can see the gold is again glowing, and I don't know why. And then I just went ahead and did the roof. Again, super, super simple design, but little designs like this help the whole project feels a lot better. Because if I just did the church here and nothing else, then this area would feel really empty. But doing it this way, it feels more lively, I guess is the way to put it. Because now you have something going into the side of the mountain with a little bit of fencing. And here I ended up building kind of like a little miner's hut. But it wasn't, I haven't seen a miner's hut before. I kind of just made a really, really simple house. Essentially just somewhere where they could store anything they mined. And that's like the whole purpose of it. I did go with birch, it was kind of weird for me because all the roofing that I've been doing up to this point used a darker kind of wood, and so doing this felt, I don't know, it just felt weird. But it didn't look bad, so I do end up keeping it. And at this point, it's just a matter of decorating the surrounding area. You know, just add a little bit of lighting, a little bit of uneven fencing to make it look, it just looks better that way. And just went ahead and extended the path here in just a bit, but I also extended the path out towards the mine, which again, just little builds like this, they really don't need to serve a purpose, but I personally feel like they make the whole thing come together a lot nicer. Because I mean, look, you'll see this as we're zooming out and I'm adding more fencing here. You'll see what I mean. See now this with church, the little mine and the miner hut there, it looks more alive, like something within an actual community. And personally, I feel like it makes sense because mining is super dangerous, so having the church right there makes perfect sense. Okay, so this next part, I have mixed feelings about it because I didn't know what to do since I did the lighthouse out to the side. So I kind of just built like, I don't even know what you would call it, but it's one of those things that you light to send a message. Like you light the thing, it catches fire, somebody else sees it, they light theirs, and I just keep lighting them over and over and over until the message gets to where it needs to be. I essentially built that and I wasn't too happy with it. I honestly feel like I'm going to end up tearing this whole thing down and building a massive tree there. Just because I feel like that would look a lot better. But I mean, this thing, to me, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, the color palette fits in with the whole thing. I just don't like the way that it looks. Because I feel like this is something more towards like a gate entrance. Have two of these towers and then the actual entrance. Like, this would work in that situation, but right here in the middle of the town, yeah, I'm not feeling it. So honestly, I feel like that's something that I'll end up removing in the next episode. But yeah, so that's it for today. I mean, we got the church built, which personally I love how it looks visually. One last good shot of that. As well as a little graveyard right next to it. Which again, it's little itty bitty details, the mine and the little hut there. Just making this whole, it's like this entire area. Now this side is complete and it looks really nice. I just got to work on the rest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, I hope to see you guys at the next one. And I will see you guys next time. See ya.